Match was super fun. First time we've ever done it, and it was a blast.
Yeah, I was there as well. It was a blast. If you guys got to tune in last semester, those of you who remember how intense of a match that was. So shifting our focus to tonight, how do you feel going into this season? Is there anything that you guys have been working on as a team in particular for tonight's match?
Yeah, so I guess we've mostly been working on just like playing off each other. It's like the really micro stuff, chemistry, synergy, stuff like that. We struggled a lot in the past with pacing and just making sure that we keep our speed mid-round. So yeah, we've been mostly trying to work on that, and I hope it shows.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. And I just have one last question for you. If you could have the ability of any other agent for a day, who would you pick and why?
So I think I would choose Jet's passive ability, where she just like floats down to stuff. I'd probably be like spamming that like many times a day.
That's a fun one.
Yeah,
a fun one.
Yeah.
No, I spam that in game already. I can only imagine if I was in real life.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to tonight, and thank you for joining us for a short interview. And please stay tuned. We're going to jump right into the action after a quick commercial break.
I'm Greg, also known as Sind, and I'm an initiator player for the Valorant Premier team.
I'm Kazu, and I go by NJV, and I'm the coach for the team.
I'm Richard, and I go by Pickle Richard, and I'm the duelist player.
Pretty fun. I definitely liked all the guys I was playing with. It's fun to get in the server with them. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge balancing it with other things, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I enjoy doing a lot.
Yeah, making like all the friends that we made through this team, so it really makes me happy. So it's like really awesome that we did this.
Yeah, I think I had really fun times on this team. I played well every single game.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I think my favorite moment was map 5. I think that was a really fun match.
The
Yeah.
grand finals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
was
grand
fun.
final. Yeah.
Remember what map it was?
I don't remember that.
Oh, it was Sunset.
It was Sunset.
Yeah.
And you played Rays.
Yeah, I played Rays.
Yeah, no, that map was really intense. Like, it was super, super hard. The pressure was definitely on. Like, it was super late at night. It was like midnight or
It
something.
was very late. It was really late.
1 a.m. or
Like my favorite moment was probably the first match of the season.
Oh yeah,
First time in the studio together.
Oh,
That
in the
was
studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. It
That
was
was
like
fun.
fun seeing all the Academy boys in the studio. So that was sick. Yeah.
My personal goal is I think I'm gonna try to hit Radiant this season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. It's,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely to win Big Ten right now, and then place top 8 in CVAL. That's our goal.
Top 8 CVAL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big Ten is definitely the thing I'm most interested in seeing.
Mhm.
I'm not flying out, but hopefully, or the boys do well over
Hopefully
it.
we win.
Where is it?
I-
OSU? Ohio State?
Yeah, Ohio.
Ohio.
I promise at least second place.
At least
At least
second place? I think we can win it.
I think we can win it too.
I think we can.
We gotta
win
be
Big Ten.
humble.
Everyone,
Yeah.
we just we can't get complacent.
Can't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
complacent. Never that.
That's a good one.
Go ahead.
Honestly, like unironically, I think Kazu is a very fun person to have in the program as like an emotional leader. Even though he doesn't always sometimes things can get a little disorganized with Kazu at the helm.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
for as much flack as we give him for being terrible at the game, he's actually
Yeah, if you watch our
He's
games
actually a very
while
good
I
coach.
play, you'll be surprised. Like, I hear Hallis is the guy my coach a lot.
Yeah.
Like a weird amount of time.
but I think Kazu's a great addition for him. I love that.
Yeah, I love
He's
having
great.
him here.
You love Valorant.
He's very wholesome.
He is very awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
He's- remember that.
I'm ready to remember that.
Yeah, and his timeouts have improved a lot too. As someone who's seen him coach over the last like 2.5 years.
Yeah, I
your
coached him
old
for a while.
timeouts were.
Yeah, that was when I was
Great.
a little baby boy coach.
Yeah, but
Baby
now
coach.
he's improved a lot.
Yeah.
I really like having him as coach.
Thank you, Gregory. Wow, this is great. You should do this more often.
That's the most praise you've ever heard.
You got an ego boost for free today.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Terps Esports, live from College Park. My name is Lily.
And my name is Bree. We are so excited to welcome you back to another Terps Esports Valorant broadcast. Tonight, we have the Gamechangers Premier team facing off against Northeastern Club Pink.
Tonight's game will be a classic best of 3, meaning the first to achieve 2 map wins will also win the series. In tonight's pre-show, we'll introduce you to the team as well as take a look at their stats from last semester. And we did lose some of the pre-show that we previously filmed, so this may be a bit repetitive, but here we are yet again to introduce you to this match.
Before we jump into the game, let's start with the rules of your typical Valorant tournament match. If you've never played the game before, Valorant is an objective-based FPS game where teams of 5 players compete into 12 round cycles against each other. The main objectives of the game is to defuse or detonate something that is called the spike, manage economies, and create strategic plans to dominate each round.
Tonight, like Bree mentioned, the Terps are going up against Northeastern. It's very early in the NECC season, so it's super important that the team kicks things off with a ton of momentum in order to carry them throughout the rest of the season.
That's exactly right, Lily. As one of the earliest games, winning here would give the Terps a lot more confidence in their divisions. Make sure we are showing the Terps lots of support in the chat tonight.
Now, it's time for us to introduce you to the members of the team. And like I said, we're also going to be taking a look at their stats from last semester as well as their specific roles.
Without further ado, I have the privilege of introducing the first member of our team, Carrots. She is the team's controller. She has an ACS of 231, an ADR of 152, and a KD of 1.4. As a controller, Carrots' main job is to secure sites on the attack and to hold down the fort on defense. Where and when she decides to place her smokes will heavily influence the outcome of each round.
Coming up next, we have Savani as the team's duelist. She's coming in with an ACS of 226, which is the highest of her team, an ADR of 147, and a KD of 1.1. Her job as a duelist is to take space for the rest of the team by winning those early round fights, which impact the outcome of rounds later on. Last semester, she proved to be such an important member of this team, and I'm super excited to see what she's able to do in this coming semester.
Next up, we've got Trace. She's got an ACS of 197, an ADR of 127, and a KD of 1.2. As an initiator, the team is relying on Trace to use her utility in order to make fights more favorable. She also plays an important role in gathering information for the rest of the team to work off of.
And next on the roster, we have Soap. She is the team's sentinel, meaning she is the team's defensive expert. She's got an ACS of 186, an ADR of 124, and a KD of 1.0. Her role is to keep an eye on the other team's movement and use her utility to make them aware of any flanks.
Now, our final player is Davy Jones. She's a super important piece to this roster, so let's take a closer look at her stats.
All right, to wrap things up, we've got Davy Jones as the team's flex player. She's got an ACS of 234, an ADR of 149, and a KD of 1.5. Davy Jones's role is what gives the team versatility in terms of agent comps across different maps and also different play styles. So now that we've introduced you to what's going to be going on tonight, we're going to be heading into the match briefly, which is super exciting. This is the first time that GC has been in the studio this semester. If you guys caught us last week for the co-ed Premier team, that was a super exciting match. But tonight we have the GC team here in the studio with us tonight, and there's a lot to look forward to.
I'm really excited. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I actually haven't watched the GC team play myself, but I am pretty excited to see what they can bring to the studio tonight.
Yeah, they had a really strong season last semester and a lot of cool opportunities, like Davy Jones mentioned, with the show match against Delaware. But here they are tonight against Northeastern. We are jumping right into Agent Select here on Lotus. And let's take a look at these comps. I see a Tejo on the other side for Northeastern. He has been a super OP agent so far, and incredibly useful on Lotus as well. I'm surprised that UMD did not opt for the Tejo pick, and instead we're opting for Breach as our initiator pick, partnered with Fade.
I honestly wasn't quite sure if Carrots was going to lock in Omen for smokes on Lotus, especially, you know, since Lotus is such a big map, and, you know, with Omen's, like, select limited space to having his smokes down, I would have thought maybe, like, a Clove would have worked, or maybe an Astra on this map, but I'm really excited to see what they have. They have Breach as their initiator. Really excited to see what they could do.
And I'm really excited for Terps Sentinel pick as Killjoy. As a Killjoy main myself, I am very biased, but I feel like the tendency on Lotus tends to be towards Deadlock, towards Cypher. So maybe this KJ pick will be a little bit unexpected for Delaware, or thinking of Delaware because of the show match, for Northeastern, and we'll see how they're able to respond quickly to that, while the Terps are going to have to find their way around these Cypher trips. So heading into the pistol round, the Terps will start things off on the defense. And they are going to be met with an attack that has brought up 2 ghosts.
I'm really interested on how this Cypher is going to play for Northeastern. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect. Like, especially util-wise with KJ util and a lot of the Breach util, will they be able to go around that Cypher util?
And the Clove for Northeastern going to take first contact on Carrots. Carrots going to back up, not seeing more players than she was bargaining for. They're going to throw a smoke for some extra security, but Northeastern is looking like they still want to rush this site. With only Carrots, they're just going to get overwhelmed, taken down by that Jet, and now the rest of her team will follow onto site in order to get this bomb down, no problem, and the Terps will have to work up a retake. Most of the positioning is from Waterfall. Looks like Trace looking to come in from door. Davy Jones spotted Waterfall, going to try to use some utility to get a little bit more space for herself, but on the other side, near Mound, Trace is not expecting this flight coming up right behind her. And now Savani's going to be rid of it too, and no, she's going to fall to that Tejo as well. That only leaves Salty Soap with 23 HP and a Dream, and the high-low is going to make things very difficult, and Northeastern comes away, setting the tone for the first round of this series.
I mean, I even feel like even if they did lose that first round, you know, I don't think Carrot was really expecting just to be soloing on C. Even with the KJ util being set up, I think it was just unlucky to have everybody push C that way.
And Northeastern buying up heavy on the second round with a hero Vandal.
Vandal and light shields.
Okay,
interesting buy.
Let's get set up.
Yeah, the important round for Northeastern to win, and a huge momentum shift for the Terps if they're able to somehow come away with a thrifty here. This time, Northeastern defaulting more than they did, but the early aggression pays off for Northeastern yet again, taking down Soap. That's a whole bunch of KJ utility disengaged for the rest of this round. Davy Jones spotted some Tejo utility, calling out to the rest of her team, maybe for some repositioning, but meanwhile, there's a total scale up towards an empty C site. This is going wonderfully for Northeastern so far. There is not a single defender on this site.
Yeah, Northeastern really took out C site flawlessly, actually. It looks like Terps are going to have to do retake on this site. They're a little bit pinched here on B side, but honestly, I think it's going to be a good retake for them.
They're going to need a good retake against this heavy buy that they are faced up against yet again. Trace trying to enter in through Mound. She's going to be met with this same positioning from this Tejo, but with the Vandal. That's a nearly impossible fight to win. Davy Jones falls right behind her in the same position, and it's an awkward retake here from Waterfall with all this util flying her way and a Vandal to make things even worse. Carrots with the classic, able to do some damage on the first, takes the second as well, but gets overwhelmed eventually. But she still took a few guns down there with her, which is the most important thing you got to look for if you're in a losing position like that.
Yeah, Carrots was able to get about, like, what, 2 picks that round? I mean, honestly, there's so much you could do with right-clicking in a classic, right? Especially with that buy and that force that Northeastern did. Really tough times. Really hard for a retake, but I think with this next round, Terps are able to get at least one on the board.
Yeah, and like you said, with this buy up that the Terps are now able to do, if they're going to win a round coming up, this has got to be it. With this buy, they've expended everything they have into this next coming round. They're leaving B site completely empty, placing their bets towards A and C, but that might not be the right play call. They do have a turret positioned on B, which is going to give them the information about right now where the rotates are going to start pouring in from either side, but will it be too late is the question. Northeastern just getting eyes on sight. Soap's in a really good position to make contact here on this jet, but she gets swung into and taken down. That is a Vandal out of the equation for the Terps. Trey does come through thanks to Trace, leaving things at an even 4v4, but Spike is down. The Terps yet again are in a retake. Davy Jones trying to flash, make a little bit of room for her team. But they have eyes on every single entrance here. But Terps somehow able to find their way onto site, and they're sticking the defuse. Will they be able to catch this defuse? And yes, they have.
Oh my goodness.
What a stick from Savani.
Honestly, like I kind of just can't believe I kind of doubted Carrots a little bit choosing that Omen pick, but honestly that smoke really helped them with diffusing Spike. Even when they got rushed in the smoke, they still managed to get the defuse down, which was a great play, and just leads Terps to winning that round. It's great.
And that was a super important round to win in terms of economy. They've held on to most of their guns. For the most part, they're up against a full buy though, so things are going to be difficult coming into this round, but still things are looking a lot less bleak with a round win there, and heavy aggression to start things off on this A side. Mostly the aggression's coming from the defensive side of the Terps, and Northeastern actually backing up behind a smoke there, not too eager to push that. Meanwhile, there's a quiet scale towards B, which is yet again left undefended by the Terps, with the exception of a KJ alarm bot, but I don't think Northeastern is planning on executing B this time around.
It looks like by the way Northeastern is playing, they're a little more passive now that they finally realize, what the Terps can do. They're playing it safe. It looks like he's about to get a pick. Oh, Carrot gets a pick on the Cypher, leading it to a 4v4. Carrot unfortunately does lose that fight against the Phoenix, but let's see what the Terps can do to defend B site.
Great positioning from Carrots though, able to do a little bit of damage just to level things out, but like you said, Northeastern just being so quiet. Trace might be the first one on the Terps to make contact and have the call out that this is going to be an A execute. I think she's hearing a little bit more than she wants to hear. Not too excited to push into 4 players blazing down this site. Gonna call for the rotate from her team. Looks like they have a flank cooking as well. So able to make things work with a Sheriff to take down that Phoenix ultimate. That is an important ultimate to take out of the late stages of this round, but Davy Jones gets caught off guard with that door. Trace forced to flick and finds 2 beautiful kills in a row and has give the Terps some hope of this round, but she's gonna have to finish the job herself to win this one and cannot quite make it out of that smoke alive.
I mean, considering she bought, what was it, maybe a Bulldog and Light Shields that round, I believe. Honestly, I mean, it looked like it was winnable, but considering that because Northeastern did play passive that round and kind of just went through tree on that site, I don't know if there's much of an option that she had to do.
Trace certainly made a little something out of nothing that round, and they took the Phoenix ultimate out of offline that round, and that's a super important ultimate, especially in these retake positions that UMD have found themselves continuously. To not have to worry about that Phoenix ultimate anymore is huge. Once again, we're seeing early A aggression, but for the second time in a row, it has not netted a kill for the Terps. And yet again, it does look like Northeastern is not interested in taking that fight, and they're going to full rotate towards C site.
I'm really curious if Northeastern is going to continue with the slow pushes and just play off of noise for the Terps. They have just been full pushing it with, it looks like just one lurk, the Cypher just lurking around B. I'm really curious, especially with Soap having only a Sheriff for this round. And with the light buys this round, would we just have to solely rely on Util?
And now the alarm bells will sound as Util is dumped onto C site. The Phoenix for Northeastern is going to try to flash, or actually it's a fake flash as they're doubling back into their own spawn. Trace has eyes on it though, keeping a patient positioning towards A site. And look at this Tejo's HP. It is not looking good for that Tejo on Northeastern, but if they're able to find a headshot, it might do the trick. And yes, that's exactly what happened. Beautiful shot from that Tejo, and now that has given Northeastern B site, forcing the Terps in what has to be their 4th retake so far this series. Soap gets overwhelmed by numbers heading her way, and now Carrots and Trace are together here near Breakable, trying to make something work. Davy Jones is going to meet up with them on the other side towards Switch, but gets taken down by that Clove. Trace trying to make a little bit more room, but Carrots and herself cannot budge any space here. Northeastern just having a dominant start to the series.
That was such a scary round, honestly. I'm so surprised that Tejo lasted as long as he could. Like, honestly, I thought they were just going to bait him out the first round, but it looked like he ended up getting the pick on our Raze, which was honestly crazy. And the double peek as we peeked to try and at least get one on site didn't work out, unfortunately, but let's see how this buy looks like this round.
Yeah, I know that Tejo must have been a little bit scared on 1 HP, but if you hit that headshot, does not matter. A lot of A utility still being invested for the Terps. This time, will Northeastern challenge it? Looks like they will. No one dies quite yet, but the Tejo ultimate is used. And that is such a powerful ultimate. Trade comes through from either side, but the Terps ending up on top with Savani using her ultimate, not able to quite get it off though. And now Northeastern can pick where they want to go next. They are numbers down, but they're backed up into their own spawn. UMD has good eyes on both sides here. It looks like Northeastern attack is planning on splitting up, sending one to either site just to get information on where their next move should be.
I feel like Northeastern might have a little bit of regret pushing in so aggressively onto A site like that. They did lose 3 players, and because of that, we're left down to a 3v2. And honestly, I think they have no choice but to push together, and it looks like we're pushing in together here at B site, especially with the KJ util. The turret catches him.
Yeah, Soap got an idea based off of her utility, but was not able to catch a visual on these 2 attackers here lingering outside of B, but they're gonna back up again into their own spawn. Is this going to end up being a save at this point with only 15 seconds left? I'm not sure.
I mean, with the amount of money that Northeastern has right now, I could most definitely think that this could result in a save, but it looks like they're finally going to go ahead and push into A site. The Clove is going to start to plant. With Breach stun. Oh my gosh, Davy Jones gets the Cypher and also gets the Clove. My goodness, what a great round by the Terps.
Beautiful round from Davy Jones in particular, finding 3 kills that round and 2 of which were crucial round-ending picks there. Just when Northeastern thought they had a clear sight, Davy Jones was there to defend. Yeah, so look at that first kill, then she swings up knowing that the other player is mid-plant and was fully able to take advantage of her positioning, which Northeastern did not have a read on.
I'm wondering if they're still going to go aggro this round. It looks like they're going to push up C together, even with no lurk. You know, here goes Terps again using the Breach stun. And with Tejo's utility, honestly, this Tejo bot is getting a lot of information here on the Terps. It isn't doing so well in their favor, but at least now Carrot has some, or at least now Northeastern has some info that Carrot is on that site alone so far.
And Carrot's definitely thanking her Omen TP right now to get her back in a position to get a kill. And she's looking for more, trying to spray through the smoke. Now she has backup thanks to Soap, and they are holding down this C site. Carrots is not budging. She instead is looking like she's going to swing and take a 2v1 fight, but she gets killed from the other side by that Clove. Soap backed up towards spawn and gets taken down as well. And a round that looked so promising for the Terps to start off has now crumbled back into another retake. Savani and Trace together, exposed by this Cypher ultimate, still going to try to make something work. Davy Jones gets a trade on the other side of the map, but Savani able to use the numbers advantage to find a pick on that Cypher. They found their way onto this site, but the Tejo utility, they've got to be weaving around it, and they've got to find this pick, which Savani cannot quite do. That leaves Trace in a 2v1 at a little less than ideal HP, but it does not matter for her. She's going to tap this spike, possibly even have it. Gets off of it at just the right time to find that kill and gets back on the bomb. What a clutch from Trace.
You know, I would have thought maybe Trace would have just faked defusing bomb, but you know what they say, real gamers stick.
Yeah, pros don't
really
fake.
do stick. And she won both of those fights. Look at her. Here's that instant replay. Especially the tail was already low as it was. Easy play. Easy play.
Yeah, great clutch from Trace. Hopefully that's going to mark a momentum switch for the Terps because they're certainly in need of one to get themselves going. They've proved that they're hanging in this match. It's just a matter of their own confidence in their play style, and I wonder if we transition to the attack, if we're going to find our rhythm a little bit better there.
Here goes that Teoba. You know, that Teoba is really too OP, at least in my opinion. Look at all that info it gets. Oh, but at least Carrot gets at least one pick, maybe another one. No, not another one, but it does look like Northeastern is pushing up yet again on C altogether. Everybody on the Terps is starting to rotate with 2 on flank. At least KJ's playing retake here on C site. Unfortunately, gets stunned by that breach ult. Oh, that's us, guys.
A nice job by the Terps to give themselves a numbers advantage heading into this retake. They found themselves in so many retakes positions, but Soap not looking towards the unexpected lurk there. Trace trying to make some room on the site, and she has been on fire recently. Davy Jones there to help her out as well, and that is another round in a row that's worked out beautifully for the Terps, and we are all tied up at a 4-4 scoreline.
I'll do my job, you do yours.
So now that things are level, the Terps have an ability to step in here and take the lead for the first time in this series. They have a KJ ultimate on their side, which is very useful for retakes, and if you look at their wins, 3 out of the 4 of them have been by winning those retakes and defusing that spike. Soap does not make first contact quite yet, but it does look like they're gonna make some presence towards B. Carrot's left to fight that alone on this site, though. She does have the help of Davy Jones up in heaven, and looks like they're both just kind of teasing the idea of defending the site. They're jump swinging, gonna smoke that for some extra security, and Northeastern found themselves backed up into their own spawn, but Trace is on the hunt outside of A, and they do not like the idea of going A after that pick, so they're gonna scale towards B, question mark? Or maybe not. They always leave us guessing. I'm sure the Terps are guessing just the same. I don't know if Trace is gonna expect to make contact here with 3 players, but Savani, 2 amazing picks there to stop this push on to A site. And now the Terps should be able to use their numbers.
Yeah, I don't think Northeastern has any choice but to honestly push, but it looks like they're slowly pushing their way up to B without making any sound, maybe just playing off of just noise. KJ still holding on, still holding down left. C. As the Terps are kind of just listening for sound, trying to figure out what the next move is from Northeastern. They're slowly pushing up, gets a pick, Carrot gets both the picks on Teo and the Cypher, ultimately winning us this round.
Great job from Carrots to be patient and hold that B site to put the Terps in the lead for the first time this series. And it looks like the Terps have really found their footing here on defense. First couple rounds look really shaky, but it looks like they've sort of figured out what Northeastern is doing. And Northeastern's kept us on our toes. They do not hit sites until very late in the rounds consistently. So that is something that the Terps are now aware of and working around.
Shadows traveling.
A lot of positioning towards A. This is something we have been seeing really consistently, but this time it's going to pay off for Northeastern as this Jet's being so aggressive. Does get traded off by Savanu, who's found 2 already, backs up into safety, but she is not done with this fight. She's gonna get swung into, picked off. Now Northeastern should have a pretty free A site, and Carrots and Soap gonna have to try to work out another retake here. Now look at the HP on Northeastern's side. It's not looking great, so this is definitely doable for the 2 of them, especially these 2 who are such amazing players with some crazy aim, and they do have ideal weapons in hand. So if there's any setting that they could win this in, it's definitely looking like it could be this one.
I'm really hoping that they do end up checking tree or at least clearing site properly because, you know, there's Teo standing up there near near CT.
Yeah, knowing that this is a winnable round, that KJ Ultimate's going to come down for Soap, but with Carrots getting picked off down to a 1v3, the KJ Ultimate gets shot, which means she's got to be looking right behind her, but she ultimately does get picked off, and you hate to see that KG Ultimate not find any use.
That seemed to be a really close round, at least to me, you know, with the 3v2, two of them being basically almost half HP, and you know, I really feel like with the use of the KJ ult, it could have gotten them, but there just had to be a lurk, unfortunately.
And the Terps will call a tactical timeout here. Coach Dusty looking like he wants to talk to his team. And I do like this timing of the timeout because you found yourself on a roll for the Terps. You won 4 rounds in a row. And suddenly you've lost a round. And now it's a good chance to pause and say, okay, what worked for us? And what didn't work for us last round?
It honestly seems like it's kind of just like a back and forth thing with Terps and Northeastern. You know, one round they'll do really good on retake, but then another round Northeastern just absolutely crazy and goes aggro at least on one site. And then usually they seem to be winning a lot of their rounds with at least getting one lurk in there.
And Coach Dusty, very familiar face in the studio, was a former UMD Premier player and has now transitioned to his role coaching here for our GC teams. And I'm sure right now he's just talking about how they can better use their knowledge of Northeastern's positioning, because that has been what has caught them off guard multiple times. When they're able to shut down Northeastern's site executes early in the round, they seem to have no problem, but it's when they don't know their positioning or they're unaware of a lurk where rounds have really fallen apart for the Terps. Some early aggression here, going to do a lot of damage to Soap. That's going to force her to back up and just give up this A site for Northeastern. They're going to be able to get bombed down, no problem. And now for the first time in a while, we have a 5v5 retake, but this Phoenix is still being super aggressive, looking to finish the job on Soap. And she will do so with no problem. And now it looks like UMD's having trouble getting out of their own spawn even, but no, they found the picks to give themselves a little bit more room here to work up into heaven. Thanks to Savani and Trace, who found a couple massive picks there. But Northeastern is responding. Are they going to be aware of this push right out of the smoke? No, Carrot certainly wasn't. Savani neither. Will Trace be able to put a stop to things? Finally able to with a Phantom and finds the pick on the Clove, but the Clove's gonna use their ultimate, but Trace hunts them down to close out that round.
I hear a lot of cheering in the studio. That was a really intense round. Honestly, with that Phoenix pushing up all the way to spawn, getting at least maybe 1 or 2 picks off of that, just a simple push like that was intense. With the way that Northeastern pushed up all the way up through A, it looks like we almost could have lost that, especially considering we were really stuck in our spawn right there.
And that is a great job by the Terps and Coach Dusty for coming out with a win after that timeout. Timeouts can be huge momentum shifts in these games. And now the Terps are in a really ideal place here to come on top in this half and end this at 7-5 with the buy that they're able to have. And they're going to certainly use all the ultimates they have available to them coming into this round.
My main concern here is that I feel like you're going to use their Phoenix, just as I said, they're going to use their Phoenix all to push onto site. They find out KJ util. Looks like the Phoenix is here clearing the site. Will he win this fight against Carrots? Carrots kills the Phoenix. Ultimately resetting him back to where he popped his Clove gets Savani. Will Jet get this fade? Fade ultimately wins that 1v1 fight.
And now the Terps have found a couple of crucial picks here. Is Davy Jones going to be aware of this Phoenix positioning tucked away in this corner? Are going to use their flash or their stun to try and give Davy Jones a little bit more wiggle room, but Davy Jones does get picked off. Trace, though, there to equalize things, and another great shot from Trace, looking to use her Fade ultimate after getting past this door, but they've got to work past this Teo, and finds the pick on the Teo for the 4K. Trace, 2 amazing back-to-back rounds to put the Terps on top for their defensive half.
That was a really, really crazy and winning round for us Terps. Honestly, all the way that they utilized their util and their ult, especially with that Fade ult. You know, what would have happened if we didn't notice that Teo was sitting there inside of tree actually.
So a great job from the Terps. They start off that half a little shaky, but somehow they're ending it on top. And now that they're on the attack, they're going to have more of a say of how these rounds go. On the defense, they're forced to kind of play how Northeastern wants them to play, at the pace Northeastern wants them to play. But here, they can just go as fast as they want. I'm sure they're a little frustrated with Northeastern not hitting those site executes fast, but now they can just go in as quickly or as slowly as they want to, but they've got to watch out for the Cypher utility. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Northeastern post that Cypher up on C site every round, because that's such a good site to play Cypher on. And this is really Savani's time here to shine as a duelist for the team on the Raze pick. Gonna throw a nade just to do some damage, but does look like they're planning on executing B. They're met with this Phoenix who's posting up really aggressively. Trace on a roll yet again, able to take down that Phoenix who was the lone defender on this C site. And now with Terps having smokes in place and Trace to find another kill, that is going to further increase their advantage this round in the retake. And Soap is wise to watch flank here with the bot going off. But are they going to be aware of the Cypher's positioning coming up right behind them? It's the only thing in between their way, and an 8-5 lead, and they will take that 8-5 lead happily, and a flawless round at that.
You know, I'm really wondering if the Terps is going to use the same strategy and like Northeastern used last round, especially with force buying a Vandal, light shields, maybe not even any light shields, just straight Vandal and just heavy guns for the second round.
Yeah, I mean, if they know how to play against it, and if they're able to take a page out of Northeastern's book, that could be great. But look at this scoreboard. Trace, 21-8, having a monstrous game on Fade. She has been just popping off these last couple of rounds, and would not be surprised if she continued to do so. She is such an amazing player. And the Terps just kind of sitting back, almost defaulting, looking out towards every site, seeing what's going on. Their duelist and the spike is positioned towards A, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's where they ended up hitting. A trade does come through on B side. Savani swings, and that early aggression pays off, and now she has all the space in the world to work off of. And it does look like the Terps want to end up on A. The retake's going to be coming in from Heaven. Plant comes down. Savani's there trying to guard Trace as she's planting. She's got to have eyes on drop. And now with that Fade utility, they know that there is a player sitting there. You've got to be aware of that, especially as Carrots gets picked off. And it's just this Tejo's working around there in dugout. Finally, the Terps able to complete the job on them and further increase their lead. And the Terps have just got to be feeling so good right now. You can see smiles pretty much across the board here in the studio.
It was a really good idea to actually end up forcing that way. I don't even remember if it was last game or last round that or last half actually. If Northeastern did end up winning that round, and I think that they did, but honestly, it's going in everybody's favor to just force by the second round. And it looks like with the limited money, we have about like 3 agents on Northeastern side, only having light shields. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, and the gamble stack is in order for Northeastern towards A. That is not where the Terps are, though, but they did not get the read on that gamble stack early. Instead, they're opting to play slow and controlled here. This time, there is a Cypher trip positioned on this B entrance that Savani's definitely getting a read for now, but it doesn't matter. She's able to work around it and find that opening pick, and she's hunting for more and finds the pick on that jet to make things look even better for the Terps. And she's not done. I think she has the read that this Phoenix is here, gets flashed and forced to tuck behind that angle, and does get picked off. And now Soap is here to use her utility to try and fend off these defenders from the bond, but she's got to work around this Tejo utility, and that will be the nail in the coffin for her. That Tejo nade is so hard to dodge, especially when they're placed right next to each other like that.
Especially being confined in such a space like that, there's really no way to get out of that other than just run or just be in line of sight of the enemies.
And it takes so long to finish. Like you have to avoid it for so long. It holds you back and delays you from things like site pushes, retakes for such a long time. And honestly, such a strong agent already. And now that ultimate is online, and their Tejo, it does have the most kills, so that's who the Terps have got to be looking out for round after round as the major threat here. Looking like they want to overwhelm the C-side. They're going to dump a whole lot of utility and a Fade ultimate to try and overwhelm this Cypher defending side. Look at all this utility. The Tejo trying to counter with their own ultimate. It's going to slow down the Terps, and it works for Northeastern to stop what looked to be a very aggressive C execute.
I'm really wondering how they're going to push up on this Cypher. You know, do we think that this Cypher is going to be able to hold down site just with that trip and all this util? It looks like Terps are playing here just to hear some noise, or maybe just hearing some whatever is going on, or if they can get any input on any other site. It looks like Northeastern's really hungry to push up here on A site going into our CT, but I mean, it looks like our Carrots is really just holding it down, just waiting for noise and slow walking up. I'm really nervous.
Carrots just trying to make contact here to try and sell what I believe to have been a fake rotate, but it didn't really go their way on C-side, so they're going to try their luck B, and they're going to find a relatively open B-side. Soap, though, trying to secure the site even further. With the help of Savani, they double swing this angle, and they are continuing to go in, guns blazing. They do get picked off, though. All that's left is an ulted Phoenix that Davy Jones and Trace have to find this pick to win this round and send the Terps to 10 round wins. Davy Jones has one more piece of utility in her kit, does not have a lot of HP to work off of. Trace, on the other hand, has a better HP look, so would not be surprised if Davy Jones is going to sit back, use some utility. The Terps wanting to be really patient here. There's no need to give this Phoenix 1v1s right now.
It looks like the Phoenix is going for the defuse, using all their util as they can, spraying through the smoke, and Terps end up winning that round. Especially with Davy Jones' low health, I was wondering if maybe she was gonna get picked off by the Phoenix while getting watched by Trace, but it looks like we did a great job that round. I think what really got that Phoenix was just compromising his spot with that wall, and then with the Fade Dog. The Fade Dog really gets you with your location.
The Terps kind of had ideal positioning to be, or ideal utility to be in that position with the two initiators left alive. That was almost unwinnable for that Phoenix. And let's see if the Terps are able to continue this massive run that they found themselves on. They're actually neglecting the spike right now. They're just trying to get a read on what is going on, like they've done in so many rounds in the past. They're not being aggressive. They're not taking any fights. They're waiting for Northeastern to burn their utility, essentially, before going back, picking up the spike, and planning a site hit.
They do have a lot of people sitting there just waiting on A, you know, just as we've seen, there's a Jet on C site with a Judge. Savani breaking that trip, and this Jet is just waiting for Savani to just walk into sight. But will this Jet get caught? Does it get caught by their bot? But Savani, fast entries. Will she get caught by that Judge? No. I'm not quite sure if that Judge was a good play, especially with that entrance right there, and everybody just running onto sight like that.
And so trying to catch the lurk, does so successfully. Carrots, meanwhile, on site, making things work, finds two picks with a Vandal, hunting for the third, finds it. And that is going to be another decisive round for the Terps. Yeah, that entry point on C, you gotta check that corner. So Savani, lucky to have that utility to put her out of range of that Judge so quickly, but man, that could have been really scary.
Yeah, honestly, I'm guilty myself, even just hiding in that corner with the Judge and hiding into smoke, especially in that corner. Do I get my picks? No, not all the time, but it is a deadly spot, honestly. You really gotta check those corners, but Savani did satchel in, so with that distance, you know, if she didn't satchel in, she might have gotten caught by that Judge.
And UMD being more aggressive towards C-side, but this Jet's already pushed the mound, gonna dash away, use some smokes to get back into cover and defend C-side with the help of their Cypher and the utility that's positioned this way. Davy Jones looking to go in with the help of Savani's raised rocket. The rocket's not gonna net them a kill, but Trace able to work off of Carrot's Omen blind, and things are just falling down left and right on this C site. Oh my gosh, so much utility invested, so many ultimates invested. Somehow the Terps land on top, able to get this bomb down with the use of some ultimates. Trade does come through thanks to Davy Jones, left in a 2v2, but Davy Jones' HP not looking great. It looks like the Terps playing off the bomb a little bit. Maybe they're trying to bait Davy Jones here and give Carrots the advantage of her positioning with the use of her ultimate.
One enemy remaining.
And Davy Jones does get picked off. It's all up to Carrots here to play the timing perfectly. Finds the first pick, but the bomb is halved. She's got to be aware of that. Going to use her Omen utility to TP where this Clove is least expecting her, and finds that closing pick to push the Terps to what I believe is 11 round or 12 round wins. Match point for map number 1.
What a great clutch for the Terps on that round. Here's that instant replay. Carrot wraps around, gets that pick on the Cypher, smokes it, TPs. The Clove made the mistake of getting off bomb, and Carrot just takes the kill. What an awesome play.
And with the bomb being half, that's even harder for Carrots, because most people are very familiar with the timing of the bomb not being half, but once it's half, it's kind of confusing. You kind of lose track of, how quickly that spike can actually be diffused, and I just played that timing perfectly there. Let's see if the Terps can close it out here in this next round for map number 1 on Lotus.
That smoke does look deadly by the Clove. Everybody's starting to find line with one another. Oh my goodness.
That is a very strategically placed smoke, and it pays off for Northeastern. UMD just not liking what they're seeing on this A site, and a full scale rotate towards B, but the Cypher has not budged, and they again have to work through this really annoying utility here. And so going to throw down that KG ultimate to try and put an end to this map. I really do like that decision from her. Even though their numbers down, this is their best chance here at winning.
The Cypher does look really stuck. I'm not quite sure if he knows that she knows that 2 of them are starting to push up with that Cypher camp broken. Wow. They dodged the tail bombs, it looks. But will it, with them blind, gets a pick on that Cypher. And another one on the tail. They are absolutely insane. Trace already top fragging.
Amazing match for Trace. She just had a killer performance there, and the rest of her team was there to back her up when she needed her. And spirits are high in the studio. You can see they're all celebrating already. What a great round to start this series off of. And we will see if the Terps are able to close it out in 2. So thank you for tuning in for map number 1, and we'll catch you for the next map.
Terp Adventures. Take flight at STAM. Host to countless Maryland events, programs, performances, and more. Feed your body. Feed your mind. Feed your soul. Let your talents soar. Dance, sing, perform. Find your thing. Join more than 800 student organizations and clubs. Find community here. Leadership lives here. Art thrives here. With space to grow. We're all just kids at heart. Let your imagination fly. Compete. Play. With wings on our feet. Here your spirit can fly. Here your soul lifts up. Here you remember those who came before. This is STAM. This is the center for campus life, where Terp Adventures take flight. You belong here. Come fly with us.
And I think by the end of the season, like now, we play together, everyone kind of jokes around a little bit more and kind of shines their natural ray. We're excited just to see them play better as well.
With the middle school program, the best part has been seeing the moments of teamwork where the middle schoolers really seem to get the game, and so that's when you can see they're starting to get a little bit hooked on how esports can be so fun.
Off game, or will Red turn things around?
Your ad tech stack is simple, streamlined, and easy to manage, right? Yeah, right. If you're in ad tech, then you know you have a problem. Ad tech is messy, and your tech stack includes way too many tools to effectively manage. At Playwire, we're here to uncomplicate your ad tech stack. We've consolidated the entire publisher ad tech stack into a single platform and added in proprietary technology and advanced tools to generate you even higher CPMs. Get access to an ad tech stack that is simpler and smarter.
And welcome back. We are about to head into map number 2 of this best of 3. And let's just take a second. Trace had an amazing game. And let's take another look at her stats, because that is really what sets her apart from most players here, especially as the initiator. Being able to top frag for your team is huge. And the way that she's using her utility too, just amazing for the rest of her team.
She's doing amazing. She closed off that last game with that clutch, and honestly, it just made a new segue for these next few maps.
And it was a total momentum shift. Like I said, the Terps looked like they were struggling at the start on Lotus when they were on the defense. Suddenly, they got a couple good clips there from Trace, from Carrots, and their momentum just did a 180. And they were able to close it out. And to win this series, they just need to win this next map. And let's take another look at this Carrots clip here with the impeccable timing with her Omen TP there with the bomb already halved. It's just stuff like that that's given the Terps a second life here on Lotus. And I'm just stoked to see what they're able to do.
No, yeah, again, I honestly didn't know what Carrots could bring to the team, especially with that Omen pick again. As I said in the beginning of the game, I wasn't quite sure how flexible Omen could be on Lotus, but honestly, the Clove on Northeastern and Carrots being Omen, both of those smokes, they did a pretty good combo for each of their teams. They really did benefit both of their teams in every way, and honestly, that Clove should honestly just stuck that last on round 12, like honestly.
And Carrots has really found a home here on the smokes pick. Last semester, she was more the sentinel pick of the team. And I know she's a little bit out of her comfort zone playing smokes, because that's not what she typically tends to play in her own time on comp. However, she did a great job on smokes. She's really good about positioning her smokes so wisely to just shut down retakes. And then also, when you're able to be aggressive with your Omen TP like that to win rounds, it adds a whole nother level to things. So great start for the Terps against Northeastern. I do have the rest of the map picks, which I'll pull up just so we can talk about it a little bit more and what we can expect to come. So that was Lotus. We started on defense. Coming up, we have Pearl, and we are also starting on defense.
I'm wondering if we're still going to have that Omen pick from Carrots. You know, I'm picking on Carrots a little bit. I don't know, just Omen on these really big maps. I'm just wondering, you got to run against the wall and throw down your smokes on another site. How is that going to benefit our team? You know, especially on Lotus on that last map, Carrots was really utilizing those smokes to do a lot of one-ways for herself, which honestly, especially defending C with Mound, you can get easy headshots on that being like attacking, and honestly, it looked like it worked out in her favor. So I'm really excited to see what these agent selects look like.
And Pearl is a map that we haven't seen for a while. It was out of the competitive pool for a pretty long time, and I'm excited to see it back in action. That is a map that has a lot of versatility in terms of agent compositions, and I'm excited to see what the Terps decide to pick. And to close things out, if this does end up going to 3, meaning Northeastern would have to win on Pearl, then we would be heading on to Haven on the attack. I like our odds on Pearl on defense a lot. I think that that's it's an easier map to defend than to attack on, especially when you think of places like Belong.
Oh yeah.
Man, I know you were not with us last semester, but Carrots was just an absolute demon on Chamber last semester with an op. I hope we see an op come out this map number 2.
Yeah, especially with mid, you know, there's only 2 ways to go. You could either go art, or you could go through doors going around onto B site. You know, with B long on Lotus, it's easy to op on defense or attack, and it's easy to just get a pick. So it would put the Terps at an advantage if she does decide to go Chamber.
Yeah, Savani was also really good with an op last semester when we looked at her gameplay. She tend to favor Jet on a couple different maps here, I believe Pearl being one of them, because that tends to be the duelist pick on Pearl. And if she does decide to go Jet, I would love to see an op in her hands. She is so good with an operator. And the Terps are starting on the defense yet again. They had a bit of a slow start last map when they were on defense, but maybe they've kind of figured out how Northeastern plays their attack, and the answer to that was very slow, very trivial. And we also do love to shout out the broadcast team in the studio. Without them, none of the streams, none of the production would be possible. Here we are to the camera crew. We have Jan, we have our director CJ,
Ooh, CJ,
and we have Chris assisting everything over there. So a big shout out to those three who make this all possible behind the scenes.
I'm really excited to see, you know, I kind of just want to get over with the defense side for Terps. I really just want to see the attack side, considering if Savani does choose to go Jet or Raze again, maybe, considering there's just so much movement that you can do with on such a big map like Pearl. Like, honestly, especially again with B Long, or just even just dashing and updrafting onto site to just get a pick. I'm really excited to see how much movement that she can do and combine it with an operator. Or maybe even jet knives, honestly. You can do a lot with jet knives. Very, very versatile. So I'm ready to see how it goes.
Yeah, and I asked this question to Davy Jones before we started the map. We may have lost some of that footage, so I'll ask it to you. If you could have one agent's abilities for a day, who would you pick and why?
For a day, Jet Dash. Yeah. Honestly, before it got like the little timer on it, you know, I kind of just want to be able to just auto jet dash out of places, maybe to class, because, you know, if you guys have been to College Park or to the UMD campus, it's a very big campus, a lot of hills, a lot of walking, a lot of strain on your calves. And honestly, if I was able to just like jet dash, or maybe like if I get to do I get to keep my passive, you think?
Yeah.
Just float everywhere I can land, maybe not break my legs. Just I'd probably do that. What about you, Lily? What are you thinking?
Honestly, I feel like Omen, because like being able to TP, like, that's so cool. Like, I could just TP up Stamp Hill instead of having to walk up it every single day. That, along with, I feel like I'd play smokes. I feel like I'd be so cool and mysterious if I could just walk through smokes all the time. So yeah, that's who I would have to pick. But I could see the argument for Jet.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I also do play Duelist and I do play Jet myself. But honestly, if it wasn't Jet, maybe Neon. A good sprint, anything with mobility and movement. Like, I'm anything to avoid walking. Like, you know, 10 minutes is not enough between our classes to walk,
I agree.
You know, to another class. But I heard because of the inclement weather tomorrow, we don't have any classes tomorrow.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Either we have a delay, but after 2 p.m., well, I don't know if I'm going to be going to my classes, you know. I think my dad's watching this, but you didn't hear it from me, but I'm not going to class tomorrow. Sorry.
Yeah, let's hope for snow tomorrow. I would rather not go to my early morning class, but I'll go if I have to. But we are hoping for snow here in College Park. I know the players also talking about hoping for snow. I think everybody is. What are the superstitions surrounding snow? They like put a spoon under your pillow, something like that.
I didn't even know there were superstitions about snow. We're about to look like Icebox or something. Like,
I miss Icebox.
I love Icebox.
I am so excited.
Talk about it enough.
Yeah,
they don't talk about Icebox enough. Like,
I need Icebox to get back into the competitive pool as soon as possible. I know it's a hot take, but I love Icebox.
It's too good. It's too good, especially with the reworks. You know, yeah.
So hopefully we're going to head into the match shortly. You know, these teams have to wait for each other to be ready before heading into the match. There's always just a little bit of buffer before we actually are able to head into Agent Select. But it does look like the players have jumped into Agent Select, and Coach Dusty just trying to give some words of wisdom as to which agents they should pick. And I see an ISO and Astra.
I'm so excited. Savani on Jet, what did I say?
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
We called it, but I'm really worried about this ISO for the side of Northeastern and how that may throw the Terps off guard. I do like this Astra pick by both sides. So Astra's very strong on this map, and Carrots knows how to work Astra's utilities really well.
Keep in mind that ISO is a pick from Tejo. So, you know, watching how Tejo was moving around last map, they were really reliant on their util, and they used that to their advantage. So now, moving on to Duelist, I'm nervous.
And here we are yet again on the defense. So they're going to have to figure out an answer to this ISO as early as possible. And also to this Gecko pick, having a Gecko drastically changes how Sight executes are worked out on the attack with the use of Wingman, being able to go and plant that spike instead of having to do it the old-fashioned way. And yeah, the Terps spread out all across the map. A little bit of KJ utility to watch.
But it does look like we have a lot of insight, considering we have KO, Astra, Sova, and a KJ, but we do have a lot of utils. So it looks like we got 4 agents found, pushing up onto B site, B long.
Yeah, Davy Jones doing a good job scanning everybody, and Carrot's going to throw down that smoke in response, but still Northeastern looking like they want to take this B site, and they take down Davy Jones. Carrot's still back site here, but shortly follows in Davy Jones's footsteps, and now the Terps are not in a good position here. They're spread out all across the map. They're going to have to wait for each other to close in on this site, but meanwhile Northeastern's spreading out, trying to cover all their bases. And Astra's not watching this flank, and we have 2 players sent that way. Savani going to find success early on, and Trace is there by her side to make these fights a little bit more favorable. They're going to work on this Astra. Trace does get taken down, so it's up to Savani to find that trade for her teammate, but she gets killed by those players on the site. And the Northeastern may be looking to change the momentum here by winning that first pistol round yet again.
I mean, again, they all just full pushed B site and relying on all of their util. I really feel like they're gonna maybe perhaps full buy or try to at least force on this second round. You know, I'm really wondering what the Terps are gonna do to defend B site, considering that Northeastern was able to get B site a little too easily that time.
Yeah, that's a great point, because the buy worked out for them last time. It looks like this time they're going for a more sensible purchase, but still, nonetheless, full shields and specters are in order here for Northeastern. Looks like they're placing their bets towards mid, just trying to see where their positioning is. There's 3 Terps players right there in mid, and they haven't quite rotated yet to be on this flank. Meanwhile, Northeastern just all in a group here, looking to execute site. Davy Jones hearing a whole lot of footsteps, getting a whole lot of utility thrown her way, gonna back up here and just wait for the reinforcements to flood in. This looks really reminiscent of that first pistol round that we saw. This time, though, it is a 5-on-5 retake. Savani for the second round in a row, just looking to make things work on this flank, but the Astra's expecting it this time. Had her knife out, so maybe not expecting it that quickly. She does have help, though, here from Soap, but it is a pistol fight against these Spectres and Wingman. Meanwhile, on the other side of the site, Terps are just dropping like flies, and all that's left is Carrots with a classic. Did some damage, but not quite enough to find that pick, but the Terps avoided the flawless that round, if there's any constellation.
Honestly, I feel like we could have really gotten that flank on. That Wingman really did distract us, though. We did have to forcefully kill the Wingman before the Astra did pop up in order for us to get a pick for it. It looks like Northeastern does have to do a little bit of a light buy, but they do have full shields. I'm really wondering how this is going to turn out for the Terps. They did try to get some picks, or at least tried to, in down mid, just rushing through mid with their pistols. I'm excited to see how this goes.
Mid presence yet again. This time Soap able to buy up more KG utility, which is going to slow them down if they choose to go art, but that is not what looks like they're going to do. Instead, they're just going to run down Soap into B Link there, and look at that ISO's positioning already almost in the Terps spawn. It's going to work his way through sewers there. Davy Jones looks like she might have a read on this ISO's positioning, but the ISO just being really patient, tucked away in this corner, and Northeastern just lined up across the map towards mid here. Davy Jones makes the timing work out in her favor to find that pick, and now it does look like this is going to be an art execute with that KJ utility taken out of the equation early in the round. Plant comes down. Savani finds herself behind a smoke here in main. Trace, though, does find herself a pick there along with Davy Jones, and suddenly this retake looking really favorable for the Terps, especially when you have Trace who finds yet another pick, and now they know this Astra's positioning because they were able to find that kill on Carrot. Savani looking in that direction, and with a Vandal in hand, it's going to be an easy pick for her.
Great retake here for the Terps. Honestly, I was pretty scared about that ISO, considering he did play Teo again last map. It did seem like he wanted to go a little bit more aggressive, but it looked like we caught him lacking, trying to lurk up into our CT again, but the Astra did end up avenging the ISO, but we did end up getting that round nonetheless. I think we do have a little bit of momentum now that we finally got a round. I hope this is a little bit more motivation for our Terps here. I'm wondering if they're still gonna push out through mid, Northeastern here, but honestly it looks like they're gonna go down through B, but we do have a little bit more util and help here on B.
Because the Terps have lost B the last couple rounds, like you said, it does look like they've beefed it up with their KJ utility placed that way. And instead of making their positioning known and swinging out, they're playing really passively, not giving up any 1v1s to start things off. Instead, going to rely on them tripping that KJ utility before taking a fight.
I'm pretty sure the KO did hear them grab that orb and a little footstep there. Astra automatically throws down the smoke. KJ's sitting with a judge. Let's see if she does end up getting a pick. But we do end up losing Davy Jones in the process. I think we're just trying to play it safe here. Hopefully somebody from Northeastern comes in.
And Davy Jones just being super patient with her positioning. Finally going to peek out, but with a judge, a long-range fight is not going to go in your favor. Going to wait for the reinforcements from Heaven for the rest of her team, but that doesn't work out either as Trace gets picked off. Carrots finds the trade, but ultimately cannot quite finish the job in a 1v4.
I think that play was just a little bit unfortunate. I don't think the Terps had the right guns, at least for that play. B just maybe isn't their sight when it comes to defending. I think they do have a better chance if Northeastern were to be able to go through A, or maybe even hard push and split through mid. Considering they do like to go through, or at least considering during that last round, they did like to go through sewers. So maybe just playing and watching through our CT and through our flank. Hopefully we can see what we can do. But it looks like there's about 3 people here on B site. But Northeastern only has maybe 2 of their team members going down through B. So it looks like they're really wanting to make sure, the Terps are really wanting to make sure that they can hold down B, knowing that it's their weak spot.
B-site has been Terps kryptonite so far. Will they have an answer coming into this round? They have 4 players right there just trying to finally win a B-site, but Trace gonna take a fight through mid with a classic. It's gonna be super difficult, and she does get picked off. Did a little bit of damage, but not really considerable amount, and now they've got to be aware of this Fade's positioning in mid, and they also have to be aware of this full-scale rotate. Carrots lands a nasty shot with that Sheriff to take out Northeastern's only duelist and best chance of entering, but they may not even need that duelist utility with an open A site right in front of them.
I think that B-hole did end up scaring Northeastern a little bit. That Faye didn't realize that Savani was sitting there in mid waiting for her. But because of that, Savani is able to get a little bit of a flank here, maybe through A main. Hopefully she's at least going to be able to get this Viper down. Or at least this Astra, actually, that's starting to come up a little bit here on A.
And the Terps are just waiting for the timing to work out. They have a flank cooking. Thanks to Savani, they're just waiting for her to get in a good positioning so the distraction can come in through Flowers here. Davy Jones and Soap going to play side by side here, backside, both with Sheriffs. Finally, the flank comes through for Savani. She tries to find 2 there, only to come away with 1. And the Terps are in a 2v3 retake. So much Viper utility, going to make things really difficult for Soap. She's forced off the spike and in an unideal positioning, gets spotted from 2 different angles, and Northeastern have found themselves in a sizable lead.
You know, that was a little bit of a predictable spot to plant, but honestly, now that Valorant's gotten rid of the little pings icons, you know, the Viper really just had to do a simple default plant and just throw all of her util and hope for the best and even spray through the smoke. So I don't think the Terps did have a chance of winning through that, especially getting sprayed. So let's see how they can take it on through this next round. I'm wondering, it looks like they're still going to have a little bit of util there on B. I'm not quite sure how Northeastern's going to go, but so far, it looks like they're going to go head back to B. Will the Terps be able to defend this side, especially now considering that they only have 2 people instead of 4? With 3 coming down from Northeastern, Davy Jones is just jump peeking, just messing around with Northeastern to see if Northeastern is going to commit with their push here.
And last round, UMD did a pretty good job at defending B-side. Actually forced a rotate out of Northeastern in that previous round. But this time around, things are a lot more slower from the side of Northeastern. Finally, first contact is made by Davy Jones. She comes out on the other side of that alive and is hungry to find yet another pick. And Northeastern looking towards B long. Carrots not wanting to take that fight, smokes it off, gets in a better positioning to take yet another engagement here. Just gonna smoke that off yet again. Saw a little bit more numbers that I think she really did want to see there, but still Northeastern looks like they're pretty sold on taking B side. They do have a lurk in mid though. Looks like Davy Jones about to make contact with that lurk and is not gonna find the pick on that side. That's gonna just leave Carrots here on B side. She has a lot of Asher utility to work with, but she's just getting overwhelmed from both sides of pillar there.
Spike planted.
And Soap quietly working in from mid here. No one's really watching this entryway other than this Astra, but it looks like Northeastern might be aware of this positioning thanks to that Fade utility. Savani and Soap trying to make things work here for the 2v4 retake. Soap finds success with that first pick, but now is faced in a 1v3, and the spike is ticking down, and that is a spectacular ace from the side of Northeastern. Credit to that ISO.
Again, I was really worried about having that ISO get picked for this map, you know, again with the aggressive and the way he just pushed up through sight. I was honestly thinking if Davy Jones didn't get picked off, we would have had a successful flank with the way Northeastern was pushing up through B site, but because of that, you know, we had Trace being the only one going through flank and then having to finally avenge Davy Jones going down through mid, but because of that, it left two of our teammates just being a little bit pinched here, trying to retake on B.
UMD have got to dig themselves out of this 1-5 deficit they've found themselves in. Surprised we haven't seen a timeout. Maybe if they lose this next round coming up, there will be a timeout in order soon. A lot of numbers placed towards B, but the spike is actually closer towards mid. Looks like they're going to rotate over with the rest of their team. But will UMD defend this B site? They were able to do it successfully once, and they do have two people on site position, but they're gonna lose this numbers fight, especially if this Fade ultimate comes through. UMD has 3 ultimates to work with, but so does Northeastern. Davy Jones, amazing shot to get things started, is getting pushed and does get traded ultimately. Spike comes down. What a shot by the Gecko from Northeastern to find Salty Soap through that smoke. And it has been yet another dominant round for Northeastern as UMD finds themselves in an unfavorable position to retake both guns and numbers-wise. Savani's only option is to be aggressive, and it pays off beautifully, but with a stinger, it's going to be hard with this long-range fight that she finds herself in. B-long. Trace finds a pick, but Savani switches to the classic and finds a great pick. Suddenly, Trace and Savani have made a very bleak round look great for them, and Savani to find the 3rd pick to make a seemingly unwinnable round for UMD go in their favor.
The Terps do look a little stressed out, but honestly, with that round, that's what I was expecting to see from Savani, using all that jet movement to get up, going from a stinger all the way up to a bandle and getting that last pick, ultimately winning Terps that round. You know, there is a lot of tension with B site. You know, it seems that Northeastern already knows that that's UMD's weak spot. And with that, I'm wondering if they're still even going to do a pause to see if Coach Dusty does have anything to say about that. But I'm really wondering here how Northeastern is going to be positioned. It looks like some of them are going to go split through mid, maybe meeting into B.
And this ISO looking to take a mid fight. Savani does not want any part of that. Does a little bit of damage, but takes some more damage, and she was looking for backs away into safety, but she's going to get, or Trace is going to get pulled into this ISO ultimate, and that is such a hard fight to win. Trace going to fall to that ISO ultimate, but ISO's not done. Still trying to make waves here into mid. Savani finally puts a stop to things as she's able to find 2 very important picks there into mid. Dashes away near window here and is looking for this late rotate, and she has a really good read on this Viper right now.
You know, it seems like Savani's playing more aggressive considering that this ISO is starting to get more aggressive as well. Savani gets that pick on that Viper, but then also gets shot from the back. It looks like the Terps are starting to rotate down to B just to protect the site, just to see if there's any movement going on. But Northeastern is a little bit contained here down mid. It looks like Davy Jones is starting to run back onto site to see if there's any action. She hears the movements. Wingman starts to plant. Let's see if she knows that this Astra's hiding. Gets that shot on the Astra.
Oh, she swings, but the Wingman's on the other side of that wall, but she still gets the pick on the Gecko, full blind. And finally, UMT just looking like they're on the brink of a total momentum shift, and I don't think we even need a timeout anymore.
I hope that this win does help ease a little bit of the tension here for the Terps. You know, they're only 2 down so far. And again, with Savani being so aggro, considering that considering Northeastern's ISO is popping off a little bit, here with 13 and 5 and Savani with 9 and 6, I really feel like that we can get up from this, honestly. And with this buy, the Terps are able to full buy, full shields and everything, but Northeastern is working with a few Stingers and a Spectre here, so I'm wondering if this ISO is still going to go full aggro, considering he only has a Stinger.
UMD has all 5 ultimates online. That has the ability to win unwinnable rounds if they find themselves in a numbers down deficit yet again, like they found themselves a couple times on the B site. For the first time in a long time, we are seeing an A execute from Northeastern. It's not expected at all by the Terps, as they've rarely hit this site. Viper ultimate does get used for the side of Northeastern, so they're able to secure this spike, but the counter ultimate is in order for Trace. Looks like she does a lot of damage on that Viper. Davy Jones loses on that flank as she was trying to be so quiet, but gets spotted out by that ISO. Trace finds an early pick despite having to work through this Viper ultimate. Savani also there to back up Trace, and now UMB is just hunting for these picks. They're spread out all throughout this site. Carrots gets caught in a really bad positioning, and the HP on Northeastern is low. This is winnable for Trace if she hurries up here, but Northeastern not going to give her the swing, forces Trace to swing out and take an unfavorable fight.
Trace was absolutely pinched 3 different ways. There was no way to win that fight, considering that she would have to make contact with all 3. And that ISO got absolutely no damage, just ended up baiting all of the util on A site without getting touched or anything, and even ended up getting a pick down on CT on Davy Jones, which is honestly really crazy to me. That just ended up, it kind of just made the Terps just go crazy with all that util, and it made it even harder for the Terps to retake with that Viper ult as well.
2 of the 5 ultimates used for the Terps. They still have 3 to work with. Going to use one of them as Savani's jet knives. She gets full blind and instantly get taken down. So does Davy Jones. You hate to see a round start out like that for the Terps, especially when they expend an ultimate like that. Now B-site is free reign for Northeastern, but Carrots, great job there in mid, just, you know, starting to make this round look a little bit more feasible for the Terps. She does have an ultimate to work with, but I think she's trying to just find a pick before deciding to invest that ultimate.
But here goes that ISO again, trying to push up a little bit into our CT and our spawn. Carrots gets a pick, but then does get traded off by that ISO again.
Carrots gets picked off, so does Trace. Now Salty Soap has around half HP to work with, and is going up against a Gecko ultimate. She's able to hide from it, but the spike is ticking down. She's not going to have enough time to get on site and defuse it. Might be looking to just save this Phantom here for the sake of the next rounds coming up.
What an interesting execute again by that ISO. I'm just really intrigued by that ISO and how intense and how aggressive here he is yet again, trying to see if Soap would come around. But it does look like it is a good idea to end up saving for this round. I'm wondering if we're ever going to get a timeout yet for Coach Jesse to see if we can figure out some tactics here. You know, Savani here... Oh, speaking of, we do have a little bit of a timeout happening. I'm wondering how the Terps are going to move forward from this. I mean, Savani and the ISO does look like they're a little bit head on, you know, neck to neck on their stats, but considering Savani does have to go a little bit more aggressive, how else is this ISO going to react to it?
Yeah, the ISO's been doing a great job setting the tone round after round in mid. The round wins for Northeastern have been pretty dependent on whether that ISO is able to take out some key players for the Terps out of the equation before we get late into the round, and suddenly you have Savani to work against. Instead, that ISO is being really aggressive mid, like you were saying, and it's been paying off really well for Northeastern, and I do like this timing of the timeout here. Still doable for the Terps. The Terps have had some moments of momentum, and they've had some glimpses of things that have worked for them and things that have not worked so well for them. So I think they're just trying to talk about right now how they get by these last couple rounds of defense, because I think they feel more confident as a team on the attack.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Let's see how this timeout goes through. I'm really excited to see what Coach Dusty has cooked up in the kitchen for us. I'm wondering if this new tactic that he's thought of or what he's told our team is going to be effective. Considering it was last map, I'm sure it will this time. We have Davy Jones going. Actually, we have a lot of light buys going on for our team so far. Again, with Northeastern having a full buy.
And Savani getting pulled in to this ISO ultimate that's online so quickly, and she just, a like Trace, cannot come out on the other side of it alive. And yet again, we see a presence from Northeastern, but they are stopped in their tracks thanks to Carrot's utility here. The Astra ultimate is in order for the side of Northeastern, but they do not look like they have any intention of using it on A side. Instead, they're backed up into their own spawn, and UMD have remained patient with their positioning on this B site. I like that they're not sending anybody mid right now, because that Astra or that Viper has solid eyes on it, but instead Davy Jones has been super patient here to hold this ideal angle for her, and her Marshall not quite able to land that first shot. Looks for the second, not able to hit that one either, so she's gonna back up by Carrot's side here and reposition.
Yep, here goes this ISO again, pushing up to our A. I don't think that Soap knows that ISO is pushing up through right behind her, but I'm really excited to see if Terps can hold down B site yet again. We already know that this is a little bit of a site that we struggle on, but Northeastern seems to be retreating back, considering the ISO has probably already calmed that she's back in CT yet again, with only 13 seconds left to plant the spike. Will they be able to do it?
Yeah, really late rotate for Northeastern. They have to get on the bomb within 4 seconds, and no, they've lost the round. If UMD can just not die, they have secured a round win. It's Soap making things work late in the round. Round 3 eventually does get traded off, though.
Round in the half.
But UMD, great job just expending time.
Yes, get those kills, especially once time runs out. There's not really much you can do. And with that ISO, you know, I think it might have been a late calm from the ISO for the rest of the team to rotate, because, you know, they were just so focused on making so much noise on B side, and especially with knowing that Davy Jones only had a Marshall for that round. It really distracted this ISO, and considering nobody was already on A, I think this does give us a chin up so far, and I hope that this brings up our momentum so far.
How will the Terps deal with the ISO with 21 kills? That is how they're going to be able to win rounds, is taking that ISO out of the round early on. And now they're just left in these last couple rounds of defense here, just trying to make the scoreline as even as possible, give themselves as much of an advantage as they can when they transition on the attack. Fade ultimate invested for Northeastern, and the Viper's going to be really aggressive with it, but Carrots has an answer. She finds a pick there, and she's going to use her utility to try and get back into safety. Davy Jones also able to get a pick on this site, but they've got to be aware of this ISO flank that's cooking up right behind them. Davy Jones using her flash to try and win that fight, cannot quite come out on the other side of that. I know she's frustrated about that one, but now the Terps have no choice but to deal with this ISO who's wreaking havoc up from heaven. Now a 2v1 is the position that Soap is faced with, and these Northeastern players are in really good position not to give up any 1v1s, and that is nearly unwinnable for Soap.
That round was really close in our favor, you know. We had a lot of advantage against Northeastern, but here we go again with that ISO. Coming up through CT and flanking us, especially through Heaven, where a lot of our team didn't really know that he would be able to, or she would be able to go all the way up there. With that, I'm wondering if Coach Dusty did mention that the ISO does love to flank and likes to rely on the rest of his team to just go ahead and push on to site yet again. You know, we did play back a little bit on defense, just hanging out near hanging out near CT and on top of Heaven, but unfortunately it didn't end up working out for us. So I'm really curious if they're ever going to even go to B. It looks like we have everybody stacked on A, running around through sewers and C and through mid. Hopefully we're able to at least get some momentum through here.
The Terps have transitioned onto the attack side. Savani looking to be aggressive, but does not pay off because that Viper just creeped up right behind her. Now the Terps have just stopped all site advances here. Instead, they're talking about where they want to go next, and Soap finally deals with that Viper pushed up yet again. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an A hit here. Carrots, though, may have good comms towards B side, but once she spots out that that ISO is there, she may influence the team to avoid the 23-5 ISO. Trace finds that pick there into mid, and that's going to convince UMD to full scale take this A site. Trace just in the face of this Gecko gets caught by surprise as she pushes through that smoke, able to keep herself alive, but certainly got a bit of a jump scare, I'm sure, as she's trying to fight off Art and loses that fight in the process. Davy Jones, the equalizer for UMD, where they're facing a 2v2 post plan. Davy Jones finds the first pick and does a little bit of damage, and now she just has to wait for her teammates Carrots here to catch Gecko in an awkward position. Carrots going to use that Asher utility and has great positioning on that flank to give the Terps a round win.
It looks like that's a good attack side here for the Terps. Honestly, because we weren't really able to defend B side, I'm wondering if they can effectively push B side, considering that we did end up seeing the ISO being the only one holding down that B side. I hope that ISO doesn't scare away the Terps from pushing down B. But with this being ready for Savani to go ahead and just rush onto site and attack, I'm wondering how she'll be able to carry out that play.
Yeah, I really like that the Terps were able to leave that last half behind them and start pistol round off on a positive note. A lot of calming going on for the Terps. You can tell by the way they executed that A site. And now it looks like they're taking mid really quietly, just trying to work around this Viper that caused them so many issues early in the last round. Looks like they're choosing to deal with the Viper by not engaging in a fight quite yet and waiting for the Viper to swing instead. And the Terps are just still waiting for some information to come their way.
Yeah, it looks like we have Davy Jones. I'm not quite sure Davy Jones knows that there's two people. They both swing together with Savani getting one pick.
Impeccable triple swing by UMD, just using their numbers and their positioning to their advantage. Savani takes down the ice, so that's definitely a sigh of relief for the Terps as they found an open B site here. Davy Jones has really good positioning on this Gecko, catches them completely off guard, and now the Terps are in a 4v1. Savani does get picked off. I don't think the Terps are panicking yet because they now know Fade's position. Davy Jones gonna cook up a slow flank from sewers.
I think that honestly this is an easy win here for the Terps. I mean, like, there really is no other way no other place that this Fade can really go. She's really just locked up there in Heaven. Oh, not Heaven, but did end up getting a pick, but we did end up winning that round, thankfully. There is a lot of tension still here inside the studio, but I'm hoping with this side switch that we're able to lock in and at least get a little bit of our momentum going up yet again. It seemed like tensions ended up going down once we found out that ISO was dead, but we'll see how it works out. With this buy, it looks like Northeastern has to really force with these Vandals and with their light shields, but we do have Davy Jones sitting here with a Ghost for attack, so I'm really wondering how that's going to go for. If everybody's all just going to push up A, maybe listen off of one another's comms, or even just play off of the Asher smokes and maybe trick the Viper that's by themselves on B site. Here goes this ISO yet again being aggro. I'm not quite sure he understands that. Wow, finally gets picked off. I'm hoping that relieves some tension for the Terps, especially with this attack side.
It's certainly going to give them a little bit more confidence in their site execute onto this A site. Savani's going to dash out, take some space there, forces the Gecko to back up. She's not done. She's hunting down this Gecko, finds the pick, gets traded as the Viper for Northeastern finds Davy Jones and Trace as well. And suddenly the Terps are numbers down here. Salty Soap is forced completely off-site, and the bomb is ticking down. The bomb's not planted, actually. So, but she does not have control of the spike at all. She's gonna have to make a lot of space for herself here and find both of these picks if she wants any chance of winning this round.
I'm really scared for her to go on to site. You know, she's being held from back site, but unfortunately does get picked off by that Viper. That Viper with 4 kills that round, taking off most of our team, which was a really interesting push. Especially, I'm hoping that ISO learns their lesson, considering that they pushed on to basically almost a full team of us on through A site without any noise. I'm really excited. I'm really scared at the same time, but I'm hoping, even though we are 6-9 right now, that we're able to just finally get in at least another round and get up that team, the vibe in the team to finally get us through this match.
Yeah, it looked like the scoreline was slowly being equalized, but suddenly we found ourselves in a bit of a halt, losing that previous round, but Soap gets things started off on the right foot by taking down that ISO. And last round, that is what won us the round, was finding that early pick to start things off correctly. Savani looking to take even more space here through Art, finds the pick on the Gecko. Again, things looking really reminiscent of that last round that we saw with A-Site being up for grabs. Yet again, Bond's gonna be able to come down, no problem. And the Terps are faced with a 5v3 post plant. Soap looking to just take some space, Art, and not give that up like last round where Northeastern found themselves with tons of space to work with through Art. Davy Jones being aggressive with Soap, but they both get picked off. And now suddenly the Terps have got to keep an eye on Art, but it looks like they're playing off-site actually, waiting for Northeastern to push into site. Carrots from mid finds both of those remaining 2 defenders, and the Terps are staying alive in this series.
That was a pretty close round, actually. You know, with Savani, honestly, Savani seems like she's out for blood. The way she just ran on the site after getting that pick on the Gecko and the Asha that was sitting there in sewers, it looks like we're finally starting to get somewhere here. About maybe 7-9 that we're at right now. I'm hoping after this we can get maybe 2 more and see what we can do with that. You know, Savani's here 14-13. ISO still being 24-9. Which is crazy, but it seems like this ISO is cracking down just a little bit, considering we've been getting picks on it for the last 2 rounds.
And a lot of aggression from Northeastern. Trace might be overwhelmed if they do decide to push, but it's Savani yet again being so comfortable in her duelist role there to find that opening pick, and she is hunting for more with Salty Soap to help out right behind her. They're going in, guns blazing through Art, and it's all working out for the Terps. Everything's falling in its right place thanks to Davy Jones. Savani, though, does get picked off, but still the Terps have numbers on their side to work with, and it's just a bloodbath here on this A site. Trey still able to find sense in the chaos of it all. Spike comes down, and there's just 1 left back site, which Davy Jones is able to take care of.
There seems to be a little bit more smiles here in the studio. Finally, honestly, again with the pick on the ISO, I don't think Northeastern can do much without their ISO being there to defend, help them defend. Honestly, again with Savani's popping off. It's starting to look like we're gaining a little bit of momentum here. I think we're gonna start moving on to B site and maybe just branching out from A site. You know, A site does seem to be working, going through Art and going through sewers, but we'll see how this turns out for this round.
And ISO does look like they're peeping towards mid. A lot of utility thrown towards mid off rip to try and slow the Terps down a little bit. ISO try to swing out into Salty Soap. No one quite gets picked yet. They're going to actually force Soap into this ISO ultimate. The Terps have lost 2 out of 2 ISO ultimates, but Salty Soap flips the script, finding that crucial pick as Savani gets taken down. So does Davy Jones. Carrots does respond, and we are just experiencing such a fight go down here into mid. Sites are being completely neglected for the first time this series when the Terps have been on attack. Spike is down. Terps still have decent positioning on it, but they are not letting go of their grip in mid. So super aware of that positioning of the flank, and now she's able to meet up with Trace to fight this remaining defender. Fade here through door, and Fade is on the brink of an ace in a 1v1. It's going to use that ultimate, but Trace able to avoid it, pick up the spike, and now Trace has the opportunity to slow things down.
What a bloodbath down mid. That was so intense.
Left.
I really feel like Trace can really get this plant off. I'm wondering if this Fade knows that Trace is gonna end up going through mid. It looks like they're gonna meet each other down in Art. Let's see if he wins. Unfortunately, the Fade does end up winning that ace, but it looked like Terps were doing pretty well that round. Honestly, they were able to get their picks down in mid. Honestly, it could have been anybody's round at that point. But again, ISO getting picked off yet again. The Northeastern did end up starting to crumble. But we're only 8 and 10. I feel like, honestly, the Terps can really do a lot with this attack. I'm really excited to see maybe Savani, or if maybe Savani, Davy Jones, or maybe some combo ults. We do have 4 out of 5 ults happening for our attack. I'm wondering if the Terps are going to utilize it for this round.
The Terps find themselves in a winnable scoreline. They are down, but things have been going in their favor in certain rounds, and they've struggled in others, but they've managed to stay in this thing. And they're looking to start this round off with 4 ultimates online, heading towards B site where there is 1 defender. It is the Viper, who's caused rounds before in the early, or has caused problems in the early stages of rounds before. Savani gonna dash into backside, force this Viper offside, but what a shot from that Viper. Trace finally able to trade out her teammates, so deals more damage here on this site. Spike is planted suddenly, and now it is up to Northeastern to retake here. ISO has been killed, so that is a sigh of relief for the Terps. They still have 2 ultimates online, and these 2 ultimates are great for post-plant scenarios if they so choose to use them.
I'm really wondering how they're going to play this off. It looks like they have basically most of the angles down. They do get that Gecko blind out of the way. It looks like they're trying to double peek, and then they trade. A trade from Only Winter and on Carrot, with Trace getting the fade. Spike has to detonate. Either they can win or save. It looks like Northeastern does end up saving, but honestly, considering the Terps got down B site pretty well, just with that Viper being there by themselves, it was a good round for the Terps. And now we're only 9-10 together. It seems like we are stressing out yet again in the studio, but honestly, we're doing pretty good. That was a good round. We really did need that round for the Terps to gain that momentum back up yet again. I'm wondering what the new strategies are going to be this time.
And another timeout taken by Coach Dusty at a super crucial round coming up. The Terps are at a 9-10 scoreline. They have a chance to equalize things. For the first time this map, they've been behind so far. Winning this round would be super important, especially as we start to near territory of potentially heading into overtime.
You know, I'm pretty sure Coach Dusty is going to be cooking up something for us yet again. I mean, considering after the first timeout, we didn't really win that much, but we still ended up getting from 9-2 considering how down we were in the beginning. So I'm honestly really scared for our team here, considering we did win. Considering we did win that last round, I'm really wondering, you know, how are we going to utilize these last few rounds? How are we going to utilize our economy and our utility? Are we going to stick together? Are we going to split? I'm not quite sure how to go. Are they going to just focus on the ISO? I'm not quite sure, but we'll see once this round starts.
And for the Terps, I would like to see them switch it up a little bit. I think that they are fully capable of doing a 5 rush onto site at one point. I don't think that's really something that they've played with the idea of doing yet. But I'd like to see them just switch up the tone a little bit. It seems like they're kind of caught in this rhythm of having to make a clutch play in the late round. So let's see how they decide to work up this round. It looks like they're opting for the 3-2 split here with numbers favored towards this A site, but the Astra ultimate, Carrots did place that as if they were heading B. So gets that pick to start things off. They're avoiding that Viper pit on the A site at all costs. The Vipers staying within their pit. Spike is positioned towards A, but I don't want to see them have to fight into this Viper pit. Looks like Trace and Savani hoping to play numbers if they do choose to peek into this pit. This could end up really badly for the Terps, considering that Northeastern is starting to rotate towards this A site, and the KJ ultimate is in place for Soap. That's definitely their only chance here of taking this A site against this Viper pit. Viper, knowing that, tries to sneak up and kill that KJ ultimate, but KJ ultimate is going to be in full effect. They're not going to quite catch anybody, but the ISO on the other side of the map did catch Savani.
Here goes this ISO again, playing on our back site. I'm really interested if the Terps are only going to be pushed back up onto main. They're gonna end up having to spray Spike, but thanks to the util by Soap sitting on Spike, there's not much that we really have to worry about. Unfortunately, with the ISO getting Soap, we don't have those bombs on site anymore, but we do have Carrot's Astra pulls, so we'll see if they do end up sticking. This ISO is blind. It's end up pushing up. Trace gets the kill on the ISO, and Trace also gets the kill on the Astra. We really needed that round. That was a close round. I was nervous. Once that ISO started rotating, I wasn't quite sure how backside was going to be, but it looks like the Terps handled it very well.
Yeah, huge round and great poise from Tracy there, just being super technical with how she decided to peek each angle there. She did have her ultimate, which I thought we might have seen used, but I really like that we didn't have to end up using it because that is such an important ultimate to have for post plant, and with these late stages of rounds, you want to avoid overtime at all costs.
Here goes this Viper again. You know, this was a tactic that they used a few times defending. I'm wondering if everybody's going to bombard. Here goes this ISO, but we do get a trade from Savani. Savani is out for blood again. I know Savani wants his ISO dead.
And now the Terps just being a tad more passive after that trade came off, but Savani being the main aggressor here into mid, looking to find the kill on that Viper, but Soap's going to help her out, peeking in from a different angle. And now the Terps have a really great positioning here to take A site from Art. They have Trace to help them out through main as well, so this Gecko's just going to get overwhelmed by Trace, and we are down to a 1v4 in heavy favor of the Terps here. The Astra only has a Marshall in hand, so this should be no problem for the Terps. Who will get it first? It's going to be Soap. And that will give the Terps their very first lead here on Pearl.
That was really scary. I mean, honestly, you never know what that Asha could have done with just that Marshall. But because we played aggressive and we wanted to hunt her down, we did end up getting that win. And especially with Savani getting a good play with the help of Soap, trying to push through Art really did help. You know, I mean, that's not the first time this Gecko has been bombarded with Savani and another player from the Terps. It just hasn't been good luck for this Gecko, at least for holding down Art. So I want to see, wow, this ISO is actually about to hit 30, 27-14 so far. I'm wondering if they're gonna end up hitting 30. We have the Viper getting hit by that KO knife. Here we go again with the ISO trying to peek down through mid. Gets Soap.
Oh, it looked like they were thinking about using their ultimate for a second. That might have been devastating for the Terps. Instead, they're just going to be content with finding Soap and backing up and playing numbers on the defensive side, forcing UMD to figure out where they want to be aggressive. It looks like they're going to peek in from mid towards B here. They're going to be faced with two players watching this angle. Savani able to get that pick. Davy Jones falls, leveling things out. But so does Savani. This ISO has been causing so many problems. Finally, Carrots puts an answer to things, but gets caught in her own utility. Now Trace has bomb possession, which makes things a little bit easier for her, but she has got to take down 3 players to come away with this round.
Honestly, I think it's a good idea. Maybe Trace didn't ult that ult. They're able to get the Astra, and I'm wondering if she's going to play safe and use that ult. You know, I think that's the best choice considering we have a Viper coming down from flank. I'm wondering if Trace knows that. I'm wondering if she get that pick on that Gecko. You know, here goes Gecko using that ult. Great. Trace gets caught by the ult, but unfortunately gets flanked on by that Viper. An unexpected turnout here for the Terps. We are now neck and neck with 11-11. I honestly think that round was in favor for the Terps. So just unfortunately, that Gecko ult did trip us up a little bit, letting that Viper get us ultimately just in the back. So I'm wondering, what are we going to plan through to get through this last few rounds and just ultimately win this map? I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of tension happening right now. There's a lot of planning, and I'm wondering if Desi does have anything to say and to help us win through these last few rounds. I mean, here we go. ISO 30 and 15 for this map. I'm wondering if maybe he's gonna get a 35. I don't know. Let's not jinx it. But this ISO is just absolutely going crazy.
And I want to see UMD use their ultimates this round. They have got to, because once you get to map point, it's really easy to lose from there. So it looks like they're starting off this round by that early mid aggression. This time it's not contested by Northeastern. Instead, they're kind of giving up mid to Savani instead, betting on the fact that they're going to do their many times executed art push. But it does not look like that is in the cards for the Terps. They're going to double back towards B and rely on the space that Trace and Carrots have taken so far. They haven't really made way onto site yet. Things are really quiet. Everybody's walking. It's the calm before the storm, because I'm sure all this utility is going to come flooding in for the Terps any second now. They got the read that only this Ashes back site, and here is the execute for the Terps in full swing. Savani, though, gets picked off in a bad position. That is not a good start here for the Terps post plant. ISO gonna not catch anybody with their ultimate. That is a huge ultimate taken offline for Northeastern. Now Northeastern has found their way onto this site. Asher looking to play some utility. Gecko finds two very important picks on Carrots and Davy Jones. How will Trace play this post plant? She does have her ultimate, but she is not in a good position to safely use it, especially with Soap getting taken down, and that is going to put Northeastern at map point.
That was honestly so intense. You know, I was really expecting Savani to get that pick on the ISO down there through doors. You know, last round it was a 2v2 between 2 players on Northeastern and 2 of our Terps, and we only got 1 pick from that. But because of that, you know, I don't think doors is a safe move for us to go through down through mid anymore, let alone maybe just going through art would be a great idea, because considering we have one through pushing through art onto the A site. But here goes this ISO again, 32 and 15 with Soap on the lead. Soap and Savani tied for about 18 kills on our leaderboard.
They're avoiding mid for the first time in a couple rounds. Davy Jones takes first a contact, but does not come out on the other side of it. UMD numbers down early into such a crucial round. It's only going to become worse as Carrots also gets taken down. All the ultimates have to be expended this round right here for the Terps. They're going to start off with Soap's KJ ultimate to buy them some room on this A site. I like how this is starting, but will they be able to finish the job? Trace trying to just back up, get into a safe position eventually to use her ultimate, but she's not done on site, trying to just make the numbers game better for the Terps, and they're in a good position to win this round if they play their cards right. Soap is really low HP, essentially a 1v1. Savani not going to leave anything up for grabs and initiates her ultimate there. And now how will this Astra play this crucial round for them and their team? And the Terps just not going to give any 1v1s. I really like how they're playing this. They're playing the utility. They're playing the KJ mollies. Time is ticking down. The Astra has to stick this bomb, and the Terps will be able to win this round with the spike ticking down. And now we are headed into overtime with this series on the line for the Terps.
Honestly, I was holding my breath that whole time during the round. I was nervous. I wasn't quite sure what Savani was going to do, because that could have gone really bad, considering the Astra just met Savani through art. If Savani didn't run away back into CT and then expel her knives, honestly, that could have gone very wrong. And considering Soap was already so low HP, I thought Soap was going to be peeking through main with the util, but it's good that she stepped back a little bit farther down A main. But with the use of just stalling through time and just exploring all that utility and everything, we ultimately won that round. I can breathe, finally. That was intense. That was so scary. I'm wondering if we're going to go aggro here on A, but we'll see how this goes. Again, remember, we don't have that much. We're not that good on B, defending B at least, so let's see how we can roll this out. It looks like all of Northeastern is pushing. Here goes this ISO again, being the first one in line to push and make contact with our team.
And it's just such a fast execute by Northeastern. Carrots, though, what a crucial pick to start off this overtime round for the Terps on their defensive side, which was their weaker side. Remember, if they can win the defense, they're going to be a lot more confident heading into the attack, and Trace and Savani are pushed up in a very proactive position to watch this rotate if it does indeed happen, because UMD's having a lot of aggression towards B. They're trying to push them into Savani and Trace on this backside, and they might just get what they wished for with this rotate. Yeah, Savani gonna peek through, but it's Carrots who will find yet another site pick, and now Trace able to work off of Savani's positioning to put them in a very favorable position. You hate to see Savani get taken down like that, and now UMD has got to work on this pinch, and they're not even gonna be able to because Trace gets picked off. It's gonna leave Northeastern to be able to full skill rotate towards A, and UMD's really spread out here, and none of their positionings are on this A site.
But even with that, we were able to assert a lot of dominance by having them forcefully watch that flank, you know, wait and take their time. Soap's getting hit with all this Viper utility. I'm wondering if Soap's able to get that wingman down, but is decaying slowly with that Gecko. That Gecko's starting to get a little crazy lately, using their util and winning their picks, especially against Savani. We have Davy Jones here and Carrot just waiting to get this push on for Northeastern. Here goes this Gecko with their ultimate, wondering if they can get Davy Jones, but gets suppressed. With Davy Jones' util, gets that flash on. Unfortunately, it doesn't get anybody. Its Viper starts to push up, but unfortunately gets Davy Jones. It's all left to Carrot. You know, it looks like Northeastern's all just sitting together now. They're able to get the Viper, and wondering if they're able to get this Gecko this time. Unfortunately not. Does get traded out by the Gecko. But, you know, that Gecko's starting to get a lot of, you know, kills, at least with these upcoming rounds. Again, with Savani, and starting to maybe act a little bit like a duelist, because I haven't really seen that much action here from the ISO, considering we got that ISO last round. So I'm wondering, here we go again. ISO 32 hasn't moved much since last time I've commented on their KD, but we still have, looks like all of our teams are pretty even here. Everybody on our team is pretty even here with our kills, 14, 15, 17, 19, and 20. You know, I really think that Terps are able to push through B, hopefully landing onto it. We'll see how it goes. This Viper is starting to push up onto Carrot, but I'm not quite sure if Carrot knows that this Viper is starting to push up on them.
Heavy mid-aggression from Northeastern, but UMD responds. Carrots, Savani, and Soap each finding a pick apiece, and now that is going to force Northeastern to rethink how they want to play the rest of this round at such a numbers disadvantage. UMD going to be able to comfortably get this spike down, and this is a must-win round for them if they want to win the series. Soap searching for a kill to increase their odds, finds it, but gets caught on the back side of things by this Gecko, and now all that stands in the way between winning this series for the Terps is this last remaining defender, or the Terps just trying to stay alive, and now they have not quite won the series, I misspoke, but they are staying alive here to just fight another day into overtime.
We're starting to smile a little bit in the studio. Big smiles from Savani. You know, I'm starting to realize that Savani and Soap work really well together, at least just picking off one another and at least just double swinging together, and I think that's something that we need to see more. It seems like it's working out. The ISO doesn't seem to be doing so hot again, still at 32, but considering both Savani and Soap are still together on top of the leaderboard, and they have been for a while now, I think that's their go-to strat.
Where are you?
And the Terps were able to win that attack in the overtime, but how will they crack the code on defense, which has been their weaker side throughout this whole entire series? Northeastern being really aggressive into mid and to onto A side. Yeah, nice job by Savani there. Trace does get traded out, which equalizes things, and it's still neck and neck here with 3 players left on either side, but Northeastern just has really nice positioning on A site, and now The Terps are in a must-win retake. Davy Jones knocked down to only 6 HP. Gonna have to rely on her utility to buy herself a favorable fight here and pushes out. Carrot, Salty Soap both get picked off. Things are not looking good for the Terps with Davy Jones only at 8 HP. And yet again, we've got to win this attack round into overtime if we want to keep this overtime going.
I mean, honestly, we had a good trade-off with Savani and the ISO getting picked off together. But, I mean, it seems like our team can work even without any of their duelists. So I'm really wondering, I think it was just a little unfortunate that Davy Jones was just hit a little bit by that Viper and wasn't able to win that fight. But honestly, we just have to lock in, and I think that this is still winnable for us, most definitely.
Now we have got to step up here to keep this overtime alive. Savani gonna peek towards her tried and trusted mid here. She's had so much success so far on this map when she's peeking mid. Northeastern not even gonna allow her to find many people there, get any information there. And I hear an operator in play on the side of Northeastern towards B long, which is where we would expect it to be positioned. The first shot doesn't land, which is going to give UMD just so much more confidence to heavy take this B site.
I'm really hoping we keep Savani alive here because I think we should keep her safe, and just in case, especially to go against this op. It looks like the Viper on Northeastern is opping, which is a little interesting. Unfortunately, the Astra does get soap. I'm wondering if this fade does get picked off. Looks like we have Davy Jones getting the ISO. This should be an easy win for our Terps with the unexpected op. Op is already down, trying to rush them with a pistol. We have Zavani still here, ready to take the kill on the fade. It's a good thing we didn't have them meet down mid through doors. We have Carrot over here trying to pull in with their Astra pull. Savani is just waiting.
Oh, and the utility's in the exact right place for the Terps to win this round. The Astra Sun comes through and the spray is in order shortly after to keep the Terps alive here on Pearl. What a massive round for Davy Jones. Without finding those two crucial picks during that retake, I don't know if the Terps could have came away with that one.
I think we can breathe just a little bit from this. Honestly, I think the play here is to try and not have Savani go down through mid, because I feel like without Savani, there's not much that we can do, because getting that first pick on with Savani and that ISO, we have a lot to do with her, and honestly just losing her first few seconds inside of the round is not a good play.
So Coach Dusty has got to be talking with his team. How do we win this dang defense side? That's been the problem for the Terps round after round, into overtime round, into overtime round. If they can win this defense side, that is the key to taking the series in 2 here. Northeastern, on the other side of things, going to be thinking, how can we win the defense side? So both teams have a lot to think about. Things have been really predictable by both sides in terms of how these overtime rounds have gone.
Honestly, I'm not even worried about the ISO anymore. I think that ISO started to lose a little bit of momentum there on Northeastern. Maybe all their luck was just used up on the first few rounds. But honestly, I'm really worried about this Viper and this Gecko. Considering that op play, I don't know. Maybe that Viper is a little bit crazy considering that they have bought the op and just rushed with a pistol into that round, but did end up dying. So we'll see how the rest of this round is going to play out, you know?
Yeah, that operator was really unexpected, and thankfully for the Terps, it didn't net a kill early in that round, because that could have been devastating. And here we are in a crucial defensive round for the Terps. A lot of presence mid to B right now. Savani, instead of trying to take a pick there, I like that she backed up, because it's really have Northeastern here at a standstill, and now she's in a really good angle here to take a fight against this ISO if she doesn't get double swung. No, it looks like it's a 1v1 against this ISO. She's not going to be able to get that pick, but Davy Jones will be there to find a trade for her teammate. They're going to use that KO knife to get a whole bunch of information of the positioning towards mid, and that is going to influence a fast rotate on B site in the face of Soap's KJ utility positioned right on the entry point to B site.
Find you.
You know, I think that's just a little bit of unlucky timing there for Savani. You know, I think Savani would have been able to get that ISO, but little did she know he was just right behind that box there. It looks like Soap is just stuck here, waiting for Northeastern to push. Is decayed by the Fade Util, but unfortunately gets killed by that Viper. Northeastern's here on site, got that plant down with Davy Jones just waiting up on Heaven. Hopefully getting some help here from Carrots.
With Trace getting picked off, things are really hard, but Davy Jones lands 2 insane shots. Gonna use that KO ultimate to give the Terps the edge this round. She is left in a 1v2 with less than ideal HP. Finds the pick and is on the brink of an ace and a massive clutch here.
Oh my gosh! Wow. A lot of the screams are coming in through the studio and from myself as well. That's getting clipped. Oh my goodness. Amazing play from Davy Jones.
Hey Twitter. How you doing, Twitter? Nice to see you, Twitter.
Catch us on the UMD Reckwell Instagram yet again. We had that crazy clip. Oh my goodness.
Crazy work from Davy Jones. Let's get another look at this beauty. Finds a headshot. Has to reload 30 HP. Fake defuses the bomb and just has the confidence to swing out. And if that does not give the Terps momentum to close out this series, I don't know what will.
I'm really hoping it does help us. I mean, look at the vibes going on. Everybody seems to be pretty even on our boards. 22, 23, and 24. The ISO yet again hasn't made much movement there with 34 kills only on the board. Here we go. Trying to attack. We have Savani here leading that push onto A, but is slow pushing it, trying to make sure we check all corners here, considering last round that ISO was in an unexpected spot. Checking every corner here. It looks like the only 2 people on that site is going to be the Gecko, with the Fade focusing a little bit more on Art. The Fade is pushing up a little bit through mid, but here we have Savani dashing onto site with the Gecko. Gecko blinded, getting that kill with that Gecko. Finally got that Gecko.
And it's a decisive way to start out this round of overtime for the attack side, thanks to Savani using that dash to get into a great positioning to get this plant down from the Terps, but she is not done. Still looking towards Flowers, gonna swing into 2 of them, back up at that ISO, making things really difficult for the Terps on the other side of this site, but not a problem for Savani. She's gonna—
Let's go! GG against Northeastern. Oh, wow.
What an insane way to win this series for the Terps. They wanted in 2. They had to fight for this win here, and we know it. They were in a large deficit on both maps and were able to come back in, what was that, quadruple overtime?
I'm honestly like out of breath. That was so intense. The back and forth, you know, we were lacking a little bit on the defense side again, and we were just lacking since the beginning of the map, but we were able to clutch it through. That, wow. I'm honestly so out of breath. We have Fiend playing in the studio right now. We're ready to party.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see that clip from Davy Jones on Twitter and our UMD Reckwell Instagram. So I hope you guys can maybe repost and share, because I know I will. That was a crazy game.
Well, we want to thank you all for tuning in to this crazy series that GC has brought us for their very first time in the studio this semester, and that is a great indication of all the exciting games we have left in the upcoming semester. So thank you all for watching, and make sure you guys tune in next Monday for some more Valorant.